Welcome back to Two Doulas in a Pod, the podcast where we discuss all things birth, advocacy, and parenthood.
We are your hosts, Arlesia and Fatima, your two doula bays. Come join us on the couch with your tea, your coffee. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
All right, what are we talking about today?
So, today we're going to discuss building your birth team, which is, I would say, one of the most important things to consider, to prepare for when you are expecting and you're having a baby.
All right.
Your birth team can consist of an OBGYN, which is a trained medical professional, a doctor who specializes in prenatal and parent, and basically they're trained to deliver children and to perform medical procedures like a cesarean.
So for those who don't understand the terminology, OBGYN is obstetrician gynecologist, so that's the abbreviation for it. And you have to go to medical school for a long time.
Very, very long time.
to be qualified and credentialed to be able to deliver babies. So that's an OBGYN.
Yes, and then you have your midwives who are also trained professionals, but it's a little bit different. They are trained to deliver babies, but they are not trained to do surgical procedures like a cesarean or anything like that. They can stitch up your sutures, they can help you deliver your babies, they can, treat you during the prenatal period.
So low risk, right?
Yes, very low risk pregnancies. They're fully equipped to handle, whether that be at home, if you're having a home birth, or at a birth center which usually are run by midwives. And that's where you'll find the midwives who can help you in a more holistic approach.
There are some midwives, though, that are allowed to practice in the hospital setting. So I do want to, press upon that as well.
That's very important.
So it just depends on the hospital where they, are allowed to practice. There are some, like in our area, that aren't allowed to do the deliveries, but they do the OB triage, for instance.
Yes, exactly.
Or where I work, because I currently work in a hospital somewhere in Broward County, and the midwives are allowed to deliver, of course, the low risk pregnancies there. So it really is, a different experience for a lot of the mommies that I do come across at work.
Yeah.
And when they share their experiences.
Yeah, it is different. I did have a birth center birth, and I had a midwife. My midwife was great. Shout out to Natural Birth Works in Margate, Florida. I had a great experience. It was a different experience. There were certain things where you kind of see on TV how birth is supposed to go, and that's completely different than how my birth went. It was a very holistic approach. Any issues that I had, I felt cared for, but through my own preferences, it was approached in a more holistic way. For example, I had a kidney infection. I wasn't drinking enough water while I was pregnant, and it was painful. So, of course, my midwife has her holistic suggestions, which was at the time like a dandelion tea, which I already knew as an herbalist. I knew that dandelion tea helped. But of course, when you're in pain, you may want a little more Western treatment because it's painful. So we had a connecting hospital. She suggested that I visit the hospital. They gave me antibiotics, and then I continued my care with my midwife, which is a perfect solution for me. I was able to address my pain. I was able to stay with my midwife, and I was able to feel better.
Oh, excellent.
And I felt super cared for, and it was in alignment with me. So if you align with that type of situation, I would think a midwife would be a great option for you.
Oh, who else is on the birth team, though?
So you have doulas, of course.
Right.
Doulas.
Hey.
Get you a doula today.
Yes.
So, of course, as you know, we are trained professionals. We assist families and birthing people physically, emotionally, but we don't perform medical procedures, as you know. But we are there as a support. We handle the tough stuff and the soft stuff and the stuff in the background and everything in between.
Yes,
Everything in between. So, of course, that's a very important aspect to your support team. We collaborate with your providers. We communicate your needs to your providers. We communicate your needs to your family, too. And that's our next point. Your family, your partner.
Family.
That is also a part of your birthing team. It's important to decide who should be there. Who should be there, Alicia?
Well, the baby daddy better be there.
If he is there, he should be there. Husband, baby daddy, whoever.
Sperm donor.
Yeah, the sperm donor. If you want them there, and if they can be there, then they, you should invite them. And who else? Grandma, auntie, uncle.
I've been in a birth where the two grandmas were there. Then
It's a family affair.
the birthing mother's sister, so new auntie was there. Her husband was there. It was a room full of people.
Yeah, in-laws.
It was a lot.
In-laws.
It was a lot going on in that room, and it was a different experience.
Yeah.
And with the language barrier also, because this family, spoke predominantly Spanish. And I'm not a native speaker of Spanish.
Just a little poquito.
Yeah, un poquito. Yeah.
We are flexible.
Oh,
okay?
yes, very. Hablo español un poquito.
I've assisted families where we did not understand there was a complete language barriers, but we have resources like translator lines. We have doulas that speak Spanish, Creole. We have ample resources to assist you.
Absolutely.
And there are many different doulas with many different backgrounds, so you just have to find the right support person or team member for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, who shouldn't be there?
Who shouldn't be there? Anybody that you don't want there.
Exactly.
Anybody that's going to bring the mood and the energy just down. You don't want those persons in your environment. You're trying to create homeostasis, equilibrium within that birthing room, right? So we don't want that bad juju, that negative energy. No negative vibes over here.
You have to think about it like this. As a mother who's giving birth, as a birthing partner, you are going through such a transformational moment. You are in discomfort. You are in pain. If you have someone around you that is negative and unpleasant, or somebody that you just simply don't feel safe around, that is going to delay your progress.
Oh, yes.
If you are not relaxed and feeling loved and comfortable when you're in labor, regardless of if you have an epidural, if you're doing it naturally, wherever you are, it's going to affect you.
Absolutely.
So it's in your best interest to choose the right birthing team. It's crucial at this. It's really crucial.
So let's recap so far. So we said OBGYN, right? You have a midwife, your doula, of course,
Hey.
your partner, your spouse, however you
define
that, and any additional family, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what, five?
Five groups of people.
Yeah, 5 groups of people.
So it's up to you to decide which of those people. Of course, you need a medical professional. I mean, you do have some people who free birth that don't want a medical professional there. And if that's your preference, then that's your preference. I would say just do it as safely as possible.
Absolutely.
But that's your preference. And whoever you decide to have there, make sure that they have the same goal as you, which is to have a healthy mommy and a healthy baby. So let's talk about red flags when it comes to choosing your birth team.
Okay, so when it comes to the provider, right? What is their philosophy on giving birth? That's key, right?
Yeah.
You need to have the conversation as soon as you can with your provider to see what their philosophy is around giving birth. Some providers are, very by the book, and you're in the hospital. They want you in the bed, not really moving around as much.
They want you on your back,
On your
pushing
back.
on your back.
Absolutely.
And that just may not align with you. I know it does not align with me. It doesn't align with me
It
at
don't
all.
align with gravity either, but
No, it doesn't align with nature.
right.
And if your provider is dismissing your questions, ignoring your birth plan, not even considering your opinions or your concerns, that is a huge red flag.
Absolutely. And you have the right, if that is occurring, you have the right to transfer your care to a provider that is, one, willing to take you on, and two, has open ears and an open mind about caring for you as a patient.
Yeah, I would recommend taking action immediately because honestly, it could be the difference between a horrible experience and a wonderful experience. And our goal is for you to have a wonderful experience. Okay?
Absolutely.
What about lack of communication, especially when it comes to not just your doctors and midwife, your OB and your midwife, but what about doulas? What about lack of communication with your doula? Is that a red flag?
That is a red flag. If your doula isn't calling you back, responding in a timely manner,
Ignoring you.
ignoring you, he or she is dismissive, because there are some male doulas out there in the world. So are they dismissive? Are they ensuring that you have enough information? Are you prepared going into your birth? You want to have at least three prenatal sessions, solid prenatal sessions, prior to going into your birth. Depending on when
you should at least see your doula's face before you go into birth.
Absolutely.
Unless it's a circumstance where it's a last minute and you needed a doula, that's different. But you should feel informed. You should feel at least confident with your doula being around you. You should at least have gotten to know them just a little bit, past the surface level things. Your doula shouldn't be trying to influence your decisions. As a doula, we fully pledge to respect your autonomy.
Absolutely.
At least as a birth justice doula.
And we encourage that. We encourage and empower you to make your own choices, and we're not pushing our
opinions, our beliefs,
or we're not biased in that way.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you want to do things a certain way, trust your instincts.
Yeah. And talk to your doula. You should be vetting everyone that plans to be there. Everyone. Ask questions, ask probing questions. If this happens, how can you assist me? And of course, educating them on what you want, your preferences, it's a big help than just jumping in and asking them questions that they may not necessarily have the answer to.
Right.
But after a while, especially with providers, these are people who should know better. And vetting them is a great way to see if their practice aligns with your birth preferences. So definitely, if you catch any red flags, I would say definitely look into it. And if the red flags continue, consider switching providers, switching. If you have to fire that doula, I say fire her.
Hey,
it is what it is, because you should know better. You should know better.
All right. So how do doulas bridge the gaps with the medical team?
Communication. As a doula, sometimes I go into, especially in the hospital settings, I go into that settings where people don't necessarily trust me right away, or they don't necessarily respect what I do. And it is my responsibility to handle that. I don't even let my clients know that, hey, this is happening, unless it's really serious. I go in there with an open heart, an open mind, and ready to even educate the providers. Hey, this is what I can do. Let me show you what I can do. Let me show you that I'm here to help this mother. I'm here to help this family. And we are all a team.
Right.
We should be working together. We should be communicating together. We should be asking each other questions and sharing information. So,
And I think the goal is to support the birthing mother, right? through this strenuous process, because
Absolutely.
it can be very, very, long
Yes.
and very tiring and exhausting for the birthing mom. So keeping clear communication with the medical team, I think, is essential, right? There's a study that I jotted down.
Yes, facts.
Look, okay, we dropping facts.
Yes.
A 2017 Cochrane review found that women who had continuous support during labor were more likely to have spontaneous vaginal births and less likely to have negative feelings about their experience.
Yeah.
So all in all, we are your birth coach. We are rooting you on, right? We want you to have this pleasurable experience, and childbirth shouldn't be, I guess, clouded with all this negative, stigma and just negative talk about, all the pain you're gonna feel, and it's so, terrible and scary, and yes, it is a scary time. However, we want to ensure that we are educating you, equipping you, and empowering you to feel like you're in control and just having the best experience, bringing a life into this world.
And honestly, a tip, go into your birthing experience expecting the best possible outcome. Don't go into your birthing experience expecting the worst, because you just might get the worst. So I would say that, like I said before, vetting your team, and let's touch on partners. Because partners play a big role, even bigger than, I know sometimes your family member can be your partner, but your partner, the person that you created this child with, if they're able to be there, if the relationship is to the point where, you're comfortable with them being there, they play a huge role. As your doula, I encourage you to do the comfort measures and the positions with your partner. I encourage you to bond with your partner in this moment, because this is a huge moment for you, and it's something that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. I've had clients really genuinely thank me for encouraging them to and educating their partners so that they can be there for them.
Yes.
As your doula, I'm pushing you to have this moment, because you can have another baby, but you'll never get this moment ever again.
Absolutely. So birthing partners, it's, we encourage you to really be intentional.
Get active.
Getting active, being with the birthing mom in that moment to make her feel loved and supported. And I mean, that actually lets her know that you're excited as well about your brand new baby.
Yeah.
Right?
And sometimes for partners, and I've noticed that with a lot of dads, things can get really scary and overwhelming, and you may not be 100% sure what is going on.
Yes.
All I see is my person is in pain, and I'm not really sure what to do. And sometimes they can find themselves kind of in the background and backing off and just processing their own feelings, which they should. But I would challenge you as a partner to get the courage to stay engaged and to push through that nervousness, because just imagine what mom is feeling. On top of pain, she's also feeling scared too.
Right.
So when she has someone who is super familiar with them, is in this with them, it's a lot better to have you there and to have you closer. And as a doula, what I'll do is encourage and educate and coach from the background. I don't have a problem stepping back and letting the partner take the lead so you guys can have those intimate moments. And did you know that when you're bonding with your partner in labor, it helps you produce oxytocin, which helps you produce the contractions, which helps the baby come faster.
Absolutely.
So
y'all heard that, right?
Yeah. So let us rewind that. Bonding with your partner, the closeness, the dancing, the rocking, the massages, the rubbing, it helps the baby get here faster. It helps your body produce more pitocin, which is,
Oxytocin.
well, I'm sorry, more oxytocin, which is the natural hormones, which triggers contractions, and it helps you get through your birthing experience a lot faster. So it's for your benefit to, get a little touchy, a little close.
Look, that release of oxytocin actually helps you all bond
Behind.
even more.
It's a
right?
love hormone.
Yes, the love
It
hormone.
feels good. So, get in there, dads, partners, get in there, get close, love on your person, comfort them, because it really benefits you both. And
Yes,
I want to say oxytocin is like an amazing feeling. Like, I love it. And just and see, look at it, and we'll touch on this, but the breastfeeding, that feeling, that bonding, that's oxytocin.
Yep.
So think about that when you are choosing, and it doesn't just have to be your partner. It could be your mother. My mother was very close to me when I was in labor, and just her nurturing spirit and the closeness, it helped me get through, what I was feeling. And it was just a wonderful experience to bond like that, because we will never experience that again.
No, you won't.
So
we're gonna start to wrap up this episode. So we talked about building your birth team. So we talked about an OB, right?
Yeah.
A doula, your midwives, your partner or spouse, and your family and or close friends who you want to be present. That's going to bring that good energy, good vibes only into the labor room.
Yeah, that's what we want, good vibes only, because the good vibes is going to get you centered and going to get you comfortable and feeling safe, and that your baby is not going to come until they feel safe.
Safe, absolutely.
So keep that in mind when you're building your birth team, when you're talking to your family and your close ones about who's going to be there. Don't give in to the pressure of, oh, I should be there. What do you bring to the table? I know that's like such a big topic. What do you bring to the table?
Right.
You need to be like, let's check off some things. Let's talk about it. Because you can't just come just because you have a title, or you are a mom or dad or auntie or uncle. Like, what do you bring to the table?
Right.
How are you going to help me achieve my goals, which is to have a healthy mommy and a healthy baby?
Right. And if I didn't send for you,
don't come for me.
Don't come. Okay. Right.
So let's wrap this up by saying building a birth team is a crucial part of your birth preparation, and we would love to hear your experiences, how you chose your birth team, what your experience was like. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us, to comment down below, share your stories on Instagram, TikTok, or wherever.
We want to hear all the stories.
Yes, we are two doulas in a pod on every platform. So we really appreciate you guys listening and tuning in every Friday with us. And we'll be back soon.
Thanks for joining us on the couch once again. I'm your doula bae, Arlesia.
And I'm Fatima. And thank you so much for tuning in. See you next time.